I don't want to. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So, a year and a half.
Yes.
I cannot believe it's been that long. I was
I know.
I was talking with someone the other day and I was saying I had visited Grinnell and I said, "Oh yeah, that was in September." And I said, "Oh, wait a minute. That was last September." I
That's
said,
so
"Oh,
weird.
I know. That time went by so fast." So, how
Yeah.
was your transition to Princeton?
It was good. Being honest, I would definitely say the first semester was hard.
Okay.
Um, I think just like the transition to the academics was definitely challenging for me. And I think like I didn't start to like I mean, I think it takes a long time to make friends. And I think like, I started to get closer with people towards the end of the semester. So I
Okay.
think like the second part of the year was a lot better than me. But I think at the beginning, it was definitely like just it was just like I think I was hoping that the adjustment phase would be like a couple weeks, but that's
Yeah.
not how it works. It's really
Okay.
just not how it works. But I love it. I love it. And second semester was a lot better. And this semester I just finished was really good. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, what's been your favorite class so far?
Oh, okay. I've had a lot of good classes. Let's see. Okay, if I had to choose one, it would be this class I took this past semester. It was called 20th Century African American Art.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so we kind of started like with like African American art from the 19th century, the end of the 19th century, and just kind of then went through the 20th century, like each week going through different styles and decades and whatnot. And we actually got to go on a field trip to the Studio Museum in Harlem,
Oh,
which
nice.
was which was awesome. Um, and we were actually going to go to the Smithsonian, African American History and Culture, but unfortunately, it didn't work out with the shutdown.
Yeah.
Um, but the class was great. The professor was great.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was good.
Okay. So, what surprised you the most once you got to Princeton?
Wait, that's a good question. Okay, I might have to think about that for a
Okay.
minute.
Okay.
Like, would it be like just literally anything,
Any,
or like
any,
about
any,
academics,
no,
or
anything about once you got there.
Hmm.
Like you just mentioned how it took longer to make friends than you thought it would.
Yeah, I think that I think I think to be honest, I think I wanted to go to a school that was very diverse and had students from different places,
Hmm.
different backgrounds, and whatnot. And then I think, to be honest, like actually being there, like coming from a town that's like not diverse at all, really, that was actually probably my big surprise because I'd like done things where I'd been around like lots of different people before, but I think just like really just like living that and living in community with so many different people,
Mm,
especially like during orientation and like hearing people with different views. I think that was actually probably the thing that I did not expect would impact me as much as it did. Like, and it was
okay.
really great. It was really great. But that was definitely something that I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be around different people. Da, 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 da. And then when you actually get there and you're actually doing that, you're like, wow, this really changes a lot.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty cool. So, what challenged you the most?
I think, I think adding on to that, the people, I think, in a good way. Like, I think that like because I was around like because I it was different than my hometown. I kind of
Mm,
started thinking about different things about myself in a way I'd never thought about before.
okay.
Um, 'Cause I think like I don't know, I think I like kind of think about myself relatively to the people around me at any given time. And then I was around all these new people and I was like, oh wow, like I didn't realize like most people here that are from, like, for example, from Massachusetts are not from Western Mass. Most of them are from like Boston.
Okay.
um,
Okay.
like just like little things like that that start like, and then it becomes more and more things, and you start to just think about like it challenges the views that you had of yourself coming in, I think, um, and ideas you have about other people. And then definitely the academics, like just I was very challenged by the academics. It's just totally different expectations, and you just have to do things in like a completely different way than high school. So,
So give me an example of that with the academics.
so like first semester, I took, or no, actually, first year, second semester, so spring semester, I took this writing seminar, which all of the freshmen are required to take, like even the engineers, like regardless
Okay.
of what you're studying. And basically it introduces you to mm, like academic, like research writing. So it's very different than the type of writing
Mm,
that you would do in high school and that I did in high school. So I was like totally not exposed to that style of writing and research and like argument making and that process. So that was very challenging because like they teach you how to do it obviously, and they have lots of resources. Like they have a
hmm.
writing center where you can go and mm, set up appointments and get advised, and you can go to office hours, but it is learning a completely different style. And so that was something that I think was exciting when I started to understand it more, but definitely hard at the beginning, because
Okay.
it didn't make sense to me. Like now that I know kind of some of the like core ideas that they were trying to teach us, I'm like, I understand why they do it that way. Like I
Okay.
understand why you're not proving a point and then finding information to fit it. Like
Okay.
why you're looking for an answer through the research. Like there are things like that that you understand once
Okay.
you've like thought about it a bit. But um like at the beginning there are certain things where it's like, oh, so I'm not just looking for quotations to support this idea that I already have. Like
Okay.
so it's
You're
like
right.
you just have to change the way you think about things. Yeah.
Yeah, that is challenging because I know for many students it was challenging just writing college essays because
Yeah.
they weren't used to writing those
Yeah.
type of essays, and now you go to this type of academic writing and research. That's another whole transition for students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And that
definitely is.
and that'll probably be anywhere, not just at
Yeah.
Princeton. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Josephine had a or I guess for my sister had a similar class. I think they call it tutorial at Grinnell, and she had to do the same thing.
Okay.
So I think they do it at a lot of colleges, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what clubs or organizations have you joined or what part of since you've been there?
So first year, I'm doing like a little bit different things this year, but last year I was in the swim club and I was just kind of doing that
Okay.
casually. And that was great. I didn't do the meets because I didn't want to compete. I just went to the practices and hung out
Okay.
with people, and that was great. And then I was also in the wind ensemble,
Okay.
which was, yeah, that was awesome. Great group. And yeah, I think those are my main commitments. I think at the beginning, oh yeah, in the first semester, I was involved in this like DEI committee as a part of the undergraduate student government, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the group. So when leadership switched, I kind of just left,
Okay.
um, and did not continue with that. Um, But yeah, and then this year I kind of decided to do different things because I had to take 5 classes at some point. You have to take 5 classes unless you take a course over the summer or something,
Okay.
to get enough credits um, for the degree. And so I had less time on my hands.
Right. Yeah.
And so I stopped doing those things, but I was still like moving around. Like I was taking a dance class, which was fun.
Okay.
Um, and that was good. And I joined this group called the Peer Representatives, and
Mm-hmm.
they like represent, help to like advocate for students who are have been accused of like breaking the honor code, like cheating on an exam,
Okay.
or like going against the like rights, rules, and responsibilities that you agree to when you come here. So, like for example, like the honor committee might represent someone who like I don't know, like used AI to write an essay when it wasn't permitted, or like
Mm-hmm.
someone like was like using like I don't know, like drinking alcohol in a common space, like things like that. So it's both like
Right.
disciplinary and like it's different categories. And so I joined that and I've been working on a case over break actually. So that has, yeah, that's the one thing I've been doing, but I have been focusing a little bit more on my classes.
Okay. Okay, that's really good. So tell me about so you mentioned doing some DEI stuff first semester.
Mhm.
What's the climate like on campus in regards
Mm.
to DEI?
Mm. So I think that, so last year we got stuff is when stuff started getting cut. Like I think
Mm,
spring or maybe like late winter of last year, I want to say.
okay.
And so I'm just saying that because I think all the DEI stuff is kind of connected to the budget cuts, even though the budget cuts started with STEM stuff.
Okay.
Um, and I know a lot of people, and yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened at the research level for professors, but in terms of like the student experience, I would say that one big change we've had this year is that the none of the programs that were just for students of color could be labeled as such because they were
Okay.
worried about getting money taken away. For example, like a couple of
Hmm.
my friends were involved in this program called Pump. I don't recall what it actually stands for, but they were mentees, and now this year they're mentors. And it was a program to like for students of color to advise incoming freshmen students of
Okay.
color,
Hmm.
and so they can't say that it's for people of color now, so they just say, like for all freshmen. So there are things like that. So I think it's like because things are labeled a little bit differently, it might be harder if you're new to campus to find
Those
what those
resources.
spaces are and what those
Hmm.
resources are, which is why I think it's good to just if you can find a mentor, like a student of color who's older,
Right.
um, or you can find a faculty. I don't think faculty member would be necessarily tied into the student stuff as much, but find someone, like I think there are some deans you could talk to in the office of deans of undergraduate students who would be candid with you. Um, but yeah, so student groups, like when they're doing events, they can't name it certain things anymore.
Okay.
Like I go to some Black Student Union events and they can't, like things are always, and before the DEI stuff, things have
Mm.
always been open to all students. Like people have
Right.
always all gone to all events, especially because there's free food at like all of the
Everything.
different like ethnic group things and like all of that
Yeah.
stuff. People always go to everything. Like it's never been closed off, but now you just kind of have to like you got to know what you're looking for.
Right.
Um, and I would say like in terms of just like on the campus and like the just like more like outside, just I don't know, more abstract. I think that I think Princeton is very diverse, but I think like most colleges, and I think this is probably fair to say, like there are definitely going to be like people sectioning themselves off
Yeah.
into groups and like politics and stuff, but that happens everywhere. That's not like unique to the school or anything. It's just life. Um, I think that there's some, I don't know, there's definitely some conservative pockets of students, which I think it's hard to talk about DEI without saying that.
Yeah.
And there are some like Trump supporters, like far left people who don't support those kinds of things.
Hmm.
But I think like although I think Princeton is probably more conservative than some of the other Ivies, I think that the majority of the people do support like DEI and understand what DEI actually means.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's That's good to know because, that's the thing with things changing so rapidly. Families will ask us questions and we're like, well, it all depends on what the administration is doing and
Right.
what they're shoving down colleges' throats.
It
So,
changes. Yeah.
yeah,
It's always changing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
think they've stood up to some things, but some things I think students wish that they like took a stronger stance on, but I
yeah,
don't know all the politics of it.
I know that's the thing. So much has gotten into it. Um,
Yeah.
what advice would you, what would you do differently in your whole college search process and decision making and is there anything that you would
Mhm.
have done differently?
I think
Because
I think that oh,
oh
sorry.
no, go ahead. You're fine.
I think that like I guess logistically I could have started some of the essays earlier, which I'm not sure like if your students are juniors or seniors, I don't know if that would be even helpful at this point. But I wish I'd started some of the essays earlier over the summer when I had more time. Um, what I would do differently. I think that mm, I think honestly I wish I had chilled out a little bit more. Like,
Mm.
that's probably not like what anyone wants to hear, but
No,
I
that's
wish I had like just chilled out. Like, I think I was definitely not as crazy and neurotic about it as some of the people I was going to school with, but I still could have just like taken it down. Like, just in the sense of like putting pressure on myself, like
mhm,
stressing about it all the time. Like, it just, like, I think like I knew deep down that like I was gonna figure out where I was going and I was gonna like with the list I'd made of schools that
mhm.
even if I didn't end up somewhere that was in one of my like top choices, I would have been somewhere that I would have been happy and gotten a good education. And I think if I just focused more on that and like enjoying senior year,
Mm,
I think that that would have been good. And like because I did early like restrictive early action and I like
right.
found out early, I was done early. But for the part that I was like working on the essays and stuff, I think just like having started earlier and then just chilled out with it,
Yeah.
honestly.
I love that you said that, Sabrina, because I'm feeling like the levels of anxiety are so high and they
So
every
high.
year they seem to get higher and
Yeah.
higher and not just with students, their parents are pretty anxious about things. Again, with this administration, you never know what's going to come on the horizon the next day. I,
Yeah.
I know even amongst us, we're always working to stay on top of any changes that are coming about because, you could wake up tomorrow morning and there could be another whole thing that's been
Yeah.
decided. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, now I've got to go figure this out. So
Yeah.
with some of the nitty-gritty stuff that you
Yeah.
mentioned, so one of the things you mentioned was office hours.
Yeah.
How do you avail yourself of the office hours?
I do go. I'd say I could probably go more if I'm being like totally honest.
Okay.
I think that like see, I think every time when I've like gone to office hours,
Hmm.
I've always gotten something out of it and I've been like thank God I decided to go because if I hadn't gone like
Yeah.
it would have it saved a lot of stress for later on that I didn't always realize at that point because sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you start talking about it with the professor and then you're like
Right.
oh. So I
Mm,
also need help with this. It
yeah.
wasn't just this one thing, it was also this.
Yeah.
Um, but office hours is great. Um, let's see, in this one class, like we have a like I know I had to take this class for my like I'm definitely more of a humanities person, but we have to take a science class and a science with a lab.
Hmm.
And in my science class that I was taking this semester, which was this like physics course geared towards non-STEM students, like the professor was so helpful. And like there were some things that I was so stressed about, and then I just go to office hours and it would just like be totally fine.
Oh,
So
great. Yeah.
it's just like it's like the resources there. You really just got to do it. It's just like I feel like it becomes more of a psychological thing.
Hmm.
Like you just got to get yourself there. It's just like you just got to like make that promise to yourself. Like I'm gonna go. This is gonna be helpful for me. Or
Yeah.
even if you don't like necessarily need to do something, checking in ahead of time so they know you also helps with
Yes.
stuff. Like always like introducing yourself or like it just like it helps. Like I remember like my first semester there was this class I was in and I went to office hours early on because there was just like one thing I wasn't understanding, and it was a larger class. Like I think it was like somewhere between 100 and 200 people.
Okay.
Um, and the professor, like I met her and I asked this question, and later on, because it was a new class and this was the
Hmm.
first semester, she'd be like, "So, what do you think about like the pace or things that we're covering?" And she'd ask me
Okay.
because like she knew me and she'd ask the other students who were going. And
Right.
so we'd like actually get to give input and it would help because she'd be like, "Oh, okay, so this is a little bit too much. We're not going to focus on this as much." Or like
Nice.
just things like that. Or like
Yeah.
my precept, the grad student was like a math major, but it was more of a like more of an econ class, and he was going through all these math proofs, and I didn't understand them. And I talked to her, and she was like, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that stuff." And I was like, "Okay, that saved me a lot of stress."
Yes.
Knowing that I didn't need to do that. So just like it's just that communication and like just getting to know them early on, like the professor, because like I think the professors really care about the students here. There was this one like lecture I was in that had like I want to say like 300 students, which is definitely on like most classes aren't like that, but it was like an intro econ class
Hmm.
I was taking. And um, the professor one day came in and he just looked at me and he was like, "Are you Sabrina?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." Because he had like gone and like looked at everyone's student ID things online and like memorized everyone's names.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it's just like if you like the professors care. So if you put yourself out there, it will like I think really be a good thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's at most schools, I hope. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great advice, Sabrina, because I think so many students are going to be nervous about going to office hours because they don't always understand the purpose of office hours.
Right.
And, I'm always telling students, go, even if you're not sure that you have a question. I
Right.
like what you said, go just so you can meet the professor so that they get to know your face. Because 9 times out of 10, these are going to be the people who are going to be writing your recommendations for grad school.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, and if you want that opportunity to maybe do research with someone, or maybe
Right.
they can
Right.
help you with an internship, but they can't do that if they don't get to know you, the person.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
really important. Yeah. So talk to me about, so you mentioned like the writing center is that one of the resources that you've taken advantage of?
Yes. I took advantage of a lot of the resources they had freshman year because
Good.
I was definitely struggling and they really helped me. Like I like this sounds so
Hmm.
corny, but like cliche, but like genuinely like I went to those things and it actually made a big difference. Like so the writing center is one. And so the writing center um they have students, grad students, and I think even some faculty who work advising anyone who makes an appointment
Okay.
on their writing. It could be stuff for your writing seminar. It could be a paper for literally any class. It could be like a paper for any class. Sometimes even people will bring in an essay for like a job application or something. Like you can bring in anything, and they help you to work on it.
Great.
And it really helps to get a second set of eyes and someone because they train them very well. So
Hmm.
they're like they're very good at giving feedback and looking at structure and all of these different parts of like a good paper, piece of writing. So that was very helpful a couple time for my writing seminar class that have gone for other classes and have said it totally helped. Like one of my friends was writing a paper for her politics class and she brought it there and the person was like, so your thesis does not match at all with these body paragraphs. And she was like, oh, and then she just changed it and it ended up being a good paper. Um,
Good.
but it's just like, it's very helpful, very, very helpful. And
Wow.
then the other resource I took advantage of, although there are many, was the McGraw Center for Teaching and Learning. And so the McGraw Center has like a lot of different roles. Part of it is that they actually help faculty improve their teaching, but
Mm.
then the other part of it is that they manage tutoring. So they have systems to um, to tutor students for classes that are super big and where a lot of people tend to need help. Like, for example, like in some of those intro econ class,
Yes.
intro math, a lot of the intro STEM classes, big lectures, things like that, um, where people would need um, that tutoring compared to like a class where you're writing a paper and you'd go to the writing center. And so they also host like workshops and like little like not quite like kind of like lectures, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
to help on certain things. And so the one I went to was on, I went to a bunch actually, but the one that I'm thinking about that was like genuinely made a huge difference for me was on reading because I'd always struggled with reading in high
Mm-hmm.
school. Like I'd read a whole chapter of a book and I'd come to class and we'd be talking about what happened and I have had no idea. Like no idea. Like I genuinely sit working on the reading and it just leave my head. And and I'd always struggled with that. And so I went and like, because in college you have lots and lots of reading, like hundreds of pages of reading. Like
Mm.
there was one class I had, and this was just one where, you'd be reading a book every week. So that's like more than 200 pages, and that's just one class. Like
Right.
that's not even all of it. You know what I mean? And so they taught us all of these skills to help with reading and also specifically to help with reading large amounts of text
Mm.
and learning how to prioritize what's the most important. Because, and this is not saying don't do all your work, but part of what they tell us is that, like professors are giving you assignments based on what they think is important for you to know. They don't know what other classes you're taking. They don't know how
Right.
busy you are. So you have to learn how to prioritize for yourself because it's not their job to like manage that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like, they teach us these strategies for how to pick apart, like, what's important to read, what's important to take notes on, what do you not need to take notes on, like, what are techniques to read where you're going to memorize, what's a good technique to skim that's going to help you, like, just get through
Yeah.
something quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that has, like, actually, like, I still use all those strategies from that class, that workshop, and that was really good. And they also have like academic coaches, which are students that you can meet with, and they help you set up a schedule for yourself. Like on classes, they help you like figure out a plan, um, or like if you're struggling with the subject, they help you figure out what you need to do or help you with it to
Mm-hmm.
do better. And so they have, and I'm sure there are more things that I actually don't know about that they do, but oh yeah, they also have study sessions where you can just go and study with other students. But like at the end of the semester when you're starting to get kind of burnt out,
Yeah.
like you go there and they have snacks and you study and then you take a break and they have things like that. So it's like that's genuinely helped me so much.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That is great to hear about all the resources, but what's even more great is that you're actually using them.
Yeah,
So,
it's very helpful.
yes. And I tell students, I said, your tuition dollars are paying for those resources, whether you
Yeah,
use them or not.
that's
So,
right.
so
That's right.
you might as well go ahead and use all of them.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you do like socially, like on the weekends and stuff? Like what kind of things have you been involved in or what's available for you there?
So honestly, like I am kind of someone who just goes and like stays in it. And I
Okay.
and so like during the weekends last year when I was involved in wind ensemble and swimming, I would do that over the weekend. Like I'd have
Hmm.
wind ensemble practice on Saturday in the evening for a couple hours and I'd have swimming on Sunday. And that was I just like kind of on frankly just wake up, go to the library and then like do those things later in the day.
Okay.
Like you're pretty much always you don't have to work on the weekend, but it's very hard not to unless you really I don't know. I think most people end up studying a bit on the weekend. So I
Okay.
would, go to the library and study for a bit. And then I would like go out and go party like ever so often, but that's definitely not something I do frequently at all. Like
Okay.
it's just I'm someone who likes to sit and book and watch Netflix. Sit in bed and watch Netflix or read a book.
Okay. All right.
um
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm like I my friends make fun of me because I'm always going to bed earlier than everyone else. But so yeah, and so like during the weekends there's always lots of stuff happening on campus. There are so many dance groups and music groups that you can always like find a performance to go to. Um Sometimes I'll just like hang out with my friends in like one of our residential colleges and we'll just like listen to music and hang out.
Hmm.
Um and Yeah, and freshman year they had like when you're in your advisee group, which is just a group made up of other freshmen, and like you get like advised by your RCA, which is like the same as an RA.
Okay.
Um, they would have events ever so often, and so sometimes they'd have things during the weekend, like oh we're gonna bake, or oh we're gonna hang out, and like we're gonna order Chipotle for everyone. So then I'd also do things like that. Mm. Honestly, I like to not do much on my weekends. So this year I've kind of just been like, I'll just like go to the library, ask my friends when they're around for dinner or brunch or whatever, and just kind of hang out, lay
Yeah.
low.
Yeah. And you know what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes we get it in our heads that we have to be taking advantage of every minute of every hour of
Yeah,
the day, when sometimes just chilling out is like the absolute
it's
best
just,
thing
yeah,
you can do.
yes,
My friend and I were talking one day and we were talking about how we we enjoy our solitude
yes,
because the rest of
yes,
the week, Monday through Friday, we're kind of going strong from the time we get up until the time we go to
yeah,
bed. And
yeah,
sometimes people will reach out and say, "Oh, we're going to go here and do that." And I'm kind of like, well, if I already did something like on Saturday, I'm not looking to do something on Sunday.
exactly. Yes.
Like
That's how I
I'm
am.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I have enough books over here to read, so I'm happy. I can just give me a book,
Exactly.
and that was like New Year's Eve. Just give me some Chinese food, and I actually watched the whole Taylor Swift Eras tour.
Oh,
So
that's long too.
it
Yeah.
was so good. I'm so glad I
That's
watched it.
awesome.
It was really, really good. I said, if I wasn't a fan of hers before, that definitely made me a fan. So
Oh.
yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So what are you looking forward to when you go back this semester?
Honestly, I really miss my friends actually. That's like probably the thing I'm excited for the classes I'm taking next semester, but I honestly just miss my people at school. Like I
Oh,
miss like having the routine, like going to eat dinner with everyone, like hanging out in the library
yeah.
and like just like and all that. So that's what I'm missing the most. But I am looking forward to the classes I'm taking because I think that of- now that I've kind of gotten a lot of my distribution requirements out of the way, even though a lot of those classes I did really enjoy, I
Hmm.
like am now able to focus more on my major, African American studies, and take more classes specifically tailored to that. So I'm taking two AAS classes next semester. One is called Plantation Worlds, and
Ooh,
it's about like life on plantations across the Americas, so not just in the US. And
okay.
the other class I'm taking is Black Politics since 1965. And the professor I've heard is very good for that class. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, so one of my favorite people at Princeton, I've never met him, but he's a professor at Princeton, Professor Eddie Glaude.
I had a class with him
You
last
did?
year. Yes,
Oh,
I was in his precept. I'd sit next to him in
oh my
precept.
goodness.
Yeah,
He is one of my
yeah.
favorite people.
He's amazing. Oh my gosh. During me and my one of my like best friends now, we were like we sat together in that class and we didn't know each other well, but we were just like I can't lie, we would just fangirl over him. Like I
I
just
could
call my
understand
parents that
why.
and like class would end and I call my parents like during their lunch break or at the end of the day and I'd be like, you know what Eddie Glaude said today? Like
I know. I said I think I hit his Instagram account every day to see what he's saying. Yes,
oh, he's amazing.
yeah, I said, "Oh my God, I would love to be able to take a class with him."
Oh, it was so good. Like every class, like it was, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it's just like the way that he talked, everyone would just like, I don't even know. It was just like amazing. It was such a
Yeah.
good class. Like, you just kind of sit there and be like, wow. Like,
Oh,
and
that's
oh,
great.
actually, earlier this semester, the like they have like a board of students majoring in African American studies who work with the faculty to like plan events and like like help improve the student experience and whatnot in the
Hmm.
department. And the students like hosted this event and it was like this discussion with Professor Eddie Glaude and then also Kimberly Crenshaw. And she came and
Wow.
it was, oh my gosh, it was so
Oh,
good.
the two of them together, that must have been amazing.
It was amazing. It was like, it was really good. It gave me a boost to get through the rest of the semester. It was
Okay.
really it was wonderful.
Oh, that's great. So your major is African American Studies,
Yes, yeah.
and do you have a minor?
So I'm still kind of figuring out the minors. I'm
Okay.
gonna minor in either history or Spanish or possibly both, but it kind of depends on like I guess part of the thing with the minors is that for the Spanish minor and the history minor, you have to part of your senior thesis has to involve. And so I don't know. I'm pretty sure that history will be involved in my thesis one way or another.
Okay.
Um, but I don't necessarily know that Spanish will. Like if I decide to do like some kind of research on like in the Caribbean or
Hmm.
like other parts of South America and like the Black experience in those countries, something relating to that one, like whatever it is, then I could use Spanish. And there are professors in the African American Studies department who have those focuses and know Spanish. So it
Okay.
is something I could do, but I don't necessarily know that that's what I will do. So I'm going to continue taking classes in history
Hmm.
and Spanish. I just don't know if I'll actually get the minor
Okay.
in both of them. So we'll see. But
Okay.
yeah.
Time will tell. You definitely have time to figure that all out.
Yeah.
So, are you planning on or thinking about doing any study abroad programs?
I really do not think I will during the school year. I'm thinking about doing something over the summer potentially.
Okay.
Like they have different programs. Like one is called Global Seminar, which I'm not going to do it this summer because I want to do something in the States this summer. Like I want to do something at like a museum um,
Okay.
or something like that. But I actually kind of I mean, because like part of like I don't know. I think like a lot of the things I'm interested in are like rooted in American history. So like obviously
Hmm.
there are connections to the rest of the world. But
Right.
I think that like a lot of the things I want to study are tied here. And
Okay.
so I do want to study abroad, especially and like to improve my Spanish and like be exposed to some kind of Spanish speaking culture.
Hmm.
But I don't necessarily know. I'm also like considering like applying to be an RCA, and that would not be something that I could be away for. So
Yeah.
it kind of Like we'll see what happens
What
with
happens?
all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just going with the flow. They have this one Spanish class I want to take that's called Spanish in the Community, and it's part of the like program for community engaged scholarship. And so you
Mm.
can like I think part of it is you do like oral history, conduct oral histories with people in the area and like different things
Oh,
like that. And so you get that practice speaking with like actual Spanish speakers and kind of getting involved with Spanish speaking community, but you don't have to go abroad to do that. So I
to do.
definitely want to do that regardless of if I study abroad or not. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. That sounds pretty cool. I love that you know that the work you want to do is kind of rooted in the United States.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are so many different types of research or you know, study locally things that you
Mhm.
could do that would support that.
Right. Yeah.
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 That that is so true. Just the other day I was listening to a podcast with Brian Stevenson and
Mhm.
talking about his museum down in Alabama. And I keep saying I've got to get to that museum and
Mm.
just listening to him talk about the history and what they've done there and what they're trying to do there. I said, okay,
Yeah.
that's another one on my list to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
awesome.
so that is. So that is, I mean, it sounds like Princeton was the right fit for you.
Yes.
So that is so good. Oh, I know the other thing is, so tell folks what are the benefits of being a RCA?
So I think like I can pretty much just speak from what I got from my RCA
Mm-hmm.
last year. She was amazing and just sort of like from what I've heard. And so, really, just like from the beginning, you just have this group of freshman students that you advise and that you live on a floor with. And um, I think it's just like it's just a really important role. Like,
Okay.
I know she helped me when I had like challenges with a roommate. Like, there are lots of things that you kind of don't foresee as being like a challenge when you come to college. Like I think a lot more people have struggles with roommates than think they will, which is not to be like scary, just in the sense that like it's different than like sharing a room with a sibling. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's just a different thing. You're gonna live with someone like who you've literally never met before. There's gonna be like things you have to do differently.
Right.
Um, and so she just was really supportive to me when I was going through those challenges. And then also just when I was struggling with the adjustment and feeling kind of lonely and homesick. And
Mm.
so I think it's just like, I think that what I've heard is from the RCAs that I've talked to is that it's very rewarding and
Okay.
that you can like be around people who are coming and adjusting to Princeton and see them kind of like find their footing and find out what they're interested in. And also that you can be there for people who you were in the same position as not long ago.
Oh, yeah, that is
um,
great.
so
That is great.
I think it's just like a rewarding experience. And you also like because you facilitate that community between the freshmen. I'm still like would consider myself like friends with the people that I lived with last year. And so I think it's like a meaningful experience,
Oh, that's good.
I would guess, from what I've observed.
Okay. All right. So one of the things, so being a RCA, does that come with any benefits as far as financial benefits?
So they do have a pretty good pay. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like a lot of money. Like it's like I think like more than 10,000, maybe more than
Okay.
$15,000 in the year. You get the RCA dining plan. You get like microwave and fridge in your room for free, which is
Okay.
expensive, so that's actually a good perk.
Okay.
You get a single um on that floor with your like freshman advisees.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the main things. I'm sure there are other perks I'm not thinking of, but it does
Okay.
pay very well. It's something that the school has put a lot of resources into. and you get lots of mentorship in like coming into that role, which is
Okay.
also good.
Well, that
That's,
sounds great. That sounds
that's
great.
yeah.
Because, I always telling students, look for those different ways to get involved on campus, and that is
Yeah.
certainly one of those big
Yeah.
ways to get involved on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There
what
there's yeah.
classes are you taking this upcoming semester?
So I'm taking so the plantation worlds and the black politics since 1965. And then I'm taking this class called Varieties in Spanish, which is just, looking at different ways of speaking Spanish in Latin America. And then my fourth class is this history class, and it's about data and culture and just sort
Ooh.
of like, the ways that data and uses of data impact these. So it'd
Oh yeah.
be interesting. Yeah, I'm very excited. I think it's very important, especially, I mean, always important, but especially right now.
Oh
So
yeah. And in the world of AI, that is
yes, yeah,
definitely
yeah, very
definitely
important.
one of
Yeah.
those conversations that we all need to be having all the time. That is
Mhm.
so, so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any other questions. I'm just thrilled that the transition was good for you.
Yeah.
Um, I do appreciate that you said at the beginning that you were homesick and,
Yeah.
a little lonely because I think people, when they go in, they almost don't expect that
Yeah.
and uh, know that they need to work through it and not say, okay, I need to transfer or I need to come home. But,
Oh,
just,
yeah. No, you got to
work,
sit with it. Yeah.
yeah, work your way through it, and like you said, eventually you find your people.
Yeah.
And then that just makes things a little bit sweeter to be able to, have folks that you can talk to, hang out with, have a meal with, um,
Yeah.
just chill with. So
Yeah.
that is really nice. I really appreciate you taking the time um,
Yeah.
to do that. And like I said, a couple of my students that are interested in Princeton, and then a couple of my colleagues that I'll probably show this to. But I'm going to stop the recording right now. Let me make sure I do this right.